Cyber threat brief for July 19, 2026. Russians are using fake Signal support accounts for phishing campaigns. Microsoft SharePoint patches failed, leaving on-premises instances under active zero-day attack. And Joomla sites face exploitation of Perfect 10 CVSS, the common vulnerability scoring system, extensions vulnerabilities. Here's the full breakdown of today's top security stories. Daily Security Brief, 2026-07-19. Next section, Business and Infrastructure Threats. Russians posing as Signal support to launch phishing attacks. Threat actors with Russian ties are impersonating Signal support staff to conduct phishing attacks against users of the encrypted messaging platform. The campaign targets Signal users through social engineering, likely attempting to harvest credentials or deploy malware by convincing victims they are communicating with legitimate support personnel. Signal does not offer customer support through direct messaging, making any such contact inherently suspicious. Action: brief end users that Signal has no direct support messaging system. Any contact claiming to be Signal support is fraudulent. Report suspicious accounts through Signal's reporting feature. Source: the register. Joomla sites under active exploitation via extension vulnerabilities. CVSS, the common vulnerability scoring system. 10.0. Attackers are exploiting critical vulnerabilities in Joomla extensions iKagenda and Balboa forms, both scoring Perfect 10. 0 CVSS ratings. These flaws affect Joomla installations, a CMS powering approximately 1 million websites globally. The vulnerabilities in third-party extensions allow remote code execution or complete site compromise. Active exploitation has been observed in the wild. Action: immediately update iKagenda and Balboa forms extensions to the latest patched versions. If these extensions are not in use, remove them entirely. Audit all Joomla installations for vulnerable extension versions and review access logs for compromise indicators. Source: the register. 23andMe settles for $18 million after failing to protect genetic data. New York Attorney General and 42 other state attorneys general secured an $18 million settlement from genetic testing company 23andMe for inadequate protection of customer genetic data. The settlement addresses failures in data security practices that left sensitive genetic information exposed. California's Attorney General has filed a separate lawsuit under state privacy laws, indicating ongoing legal action. This represents enforcement under state privacy frameworks and highlights regulatory expectations for handling biometric and genetic data. Source: data breaches. Net. Next section, ransomware claims last 48h. One claim tracked from one group in the last 48 hours. These are unverified claims from ransomware leak sites, not confirmed breaches. Group: victim sector country blackout Bluebell Group. Com: unspecified. Next section, ransomware and extortion. Blackout Ransomware Group claims Bluebell Group. Com: the Blackout Ransomware Group posted a claim against Bluebell Group. Com: on their leak site. Blackout emerged in February 2024 and operates a double extortion model targeting healthcare, mining, telecommunications, and food and beverage sectors across France, Canada, Mexico, Croatia, and Spain. The group uses standard cryptographic techniques, appends custom extensions to encrypted files, and operates a Tor-based leak and negotiation platform. No additional details about the claimed victim or data exposure are available. Source: Ransom Look. Next section, Windows/Active Directory security. Microsoft SharePoint on-premises under active zero-day attack. Microsoft's patches for on-premises SharePoint failed to address vulnerabilities that are now being actively exploited as 0 days. The attacks target SharePoint deployments that are not cloud-hosted. Organizations running on-premises SharePoint face immediate risk from attackers leveraging these unpatched flaws. Microsoft has acknowledged the failed patches, but specific CVE or common vulnerabilities and exposures, identifiers, and the nature of the vulnerabilities have not been disclosed. Action: monitor Microsoft security advisories for emergency patches addressing the SharePoint 0-day. Implement network segmentation to limit SharePoint exposure. Review SharePoint access logs for anomalous activity, privilege escalation attempts, or unauthorized file access. Consider moving to SharePoint Online if on-premises hosting poses unacceptable risk. Source: the register. Next section, general security news. EQT acquires majority stake in Acronis private equity firm. EQT purchased a majority share in Swiss cybersecurity company Acronis at a valuation equivalent to over $3.5 billion for the entire firm. The exact portion sold was not disclosed. Acronis provides backup, disaster recovery, and cybersecurity solutions. The acquisition reflects continued private equity investment in the cybersecurity sector, particularly in unified data protection platforms. Source: the register. DEFCON Franklin Project expands to harden critical infrastructure. DEFCON announced the Franklin Project, expanding the conference's infrastructure security focus beyond the voting village. The project enlists hackers to identify vulnerabilities in critical infrastructure systems. DEFCON founder Jeff Moss stated that voting village reports have been successful enough to warrant expanding the security review model across the entire conference. The initiative aims to improve security of industrial control systems and other critical infrastructure beyond election systems. Source: The Register. Next section, Patch Priority. Joomla extensions. Agenda and Balboa forms, CVSS 10.0, remote code execution under active exploitation. SharePoint on-premises, 0-day active exploitation, Microsoft patches failed, emergency update pending. Next section, Trends and Context. Today's collection shows a pattern of exploitation targeting web platforms and content management systems, with Joomla extensions and SharePoint both under active attack. Signal phishing campaign demonstrates threat actors adapting social engineering to encrypted communication platforms, while the 23andMe settlement signals increasing state-level enforcement of data protection requirements for biometric information. That concludes today's Cyber Threat Brief. From Carolina Clear Tech, stay patched, stay vigilant.